Hello, everyone. I hope you can see and hear me now. Hoping that our connection issue has been resolved. If you are at the link for vapc.org ghangout/introduction to WordPress, you should be able to refresh and be able to see everything that is going on. I'm going to type some information into the chat right now, so hopefully everybody will be able to see that in just a second. Let's see here. All right. Not sure how to tell if everyone can see and hear me right now. If you can, please do type into the chat that you are present, just so we can kind of get a check on that. I'm not sure what is happening. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining me. I hope I'm not a little too late. Okay, great. I'm glad that you can see and hear me fine, Natalie-140. Anyone else? Thank you so much for typing that into the comments. It's a little hard to tell. If anybody else is having a connection problem, please refresh your screen or go back to this link again, and that should be pulling the live feed now. I'm not 100% sure where everybody dropped off, so why don't we go ahead and just back up a little bit. I'm going to share my screen again and go to the PowerPoint and kind of pick up where we left off, which is luckily on the very first section. So go ahead and do a screen share here. This window. And go ahead and start our slideshow. Okay, so just back up a little quickly. I'm not sure if anybody missed this first part. What is WordPress? Again, it is a free, flexible, and secure website engine that lets you build and maintain a dynamic SEO-optimized website with ease. That is the best one-sentence description of what it is. We were talking a little bit about what is so great about it. Again, it is free. does not cost anything to download, maintain, update, anything else. What the updates, everything for the rest of its existence is free. It is an open source project. And if you're not familiar with that, you can Google open source software. That is community written software. So people, hundreds of people across the globe contribute to the writing and the maintaining and updating of the software. And so it is free and open to everyone. So it's something in the community. It is flexible. Using it, you can use it on your own hosted account. So if you have a GoDaddy, HostGator, Bluehost, anything like that, you can use it there. You can also, if you don't, you can have an account on WordPress.com and publish your site there for free. It is easy to use and learn. I always say if you can use email and Microsoft Word, then this will make sense to you. It is well known and supported. Again, 25% of all websites on the internet use WordPress. Almost, it was like 23.5% of websites, which is a staggering number. That is millions of websites using this architecture. The best benefit of that is that it is constantly updated, constantly having security loopholes closed, and having people build more functionality and themes and everything else. So it's a very dynamic, very much a living product. It is scalable, extendable, and perfect for anything large, small, complicated, simple. If your business or organization really just wants to get their information out there and have a very simple, we don't need to sell anything, we just want to have people know who we are, then the WordPress is great. And if you have a very complicated website, a lot of blogging, a lot of product sales, anything that can be benefited by a database, it is also perfect for that. It is can be used and really expanded to fit any need. It is naturally search engine friendly. So one of the benefits of that is with absolutely no effort. Your site immediately out of the box, the first day you put it live, is search engine friendly. It is coded correctly. It is aimed at the search engines. And then you can add an extra layer of optimization very simply and easily. A few clicks later, and your site is optimized for the keywords that you select and the market areas, whatever it is. You can really drill down and improve your SEO results with WordPress and some of the plugins and other things. Again, it is secure. That is one of the things that I really like about it, because it is such a highly used product. It is a target of attacks, but because there's this community of hundreds of thousands of people maintaining it and kind of watching over it, there are updates very often that close loopholes and help keep the site safe. And you can also add on additional items for security, spam blockers, and secure server checks and things like that. So we're going to take a quick second here. Let's see, restart this. I'm trying to make this a little bigger so everybody can see it. Let's see. Okay. So now you're kind of at the point where, okay, that sounds pretty good. Sounds like a good option. Now what? What do I do? Well, WordPress is very much helps you kind of build. It's like building a house. So you lay the foundation. You install WordPress on your hosting server, or you sign up for a free account at WordPress.com. And then you can build the structure. So just like putting up walls, you select a theme for the general layout, navigation, color schemes. You kind of build that basic structure. You want to install appliances and finishes, the fun stuff. So you get the things that make things work, functionality you need, calendars, event reminders, any kind of thing. For instance, Wild Apricot, management of your membership database with VPC is a plugin that we use. We plug in to connect those two systems. And then you customize the theme to fit your needs. Depending on how complicated you want to get, you can customize really to the nth degree, or back up and just do almost no customization at all. Just add your logo, add your color scheme, customize the headers, footers, anything like that. And then you just move in, fill in your content, and launch your new site. It is that simple. And it, just as if any other website project, but this process is very much streamlined because a lot of that back end structure is done for you. Very often it's, well, but will it work for me? I don't know about this. My needs are special. My needs are XYZ. WordPress truly does work for just about any application. Again, it was started as a blog engine, so perfect for blogs and online magazines, newsletters, things like that. Anything that's got content updating of data every day, articles. Online retail merchants. There is a lot of functionality out there aimed at helping you have storefronts, connect with Etsy, connect with Facebook stores, and really kind of integrate your product sales. It's great for nonprofit organizations. Again, it's free, which is awesome. It's easy to update, so you can have volunteers updating it, or as your board changes, things like that. It's great for corporations. It's a very simple way to have great SEO and be able to manage large sums of data and be able to have that data be accessible easily and intuitively by your users. And it's great for small businesses. It is one of the best ways to get a website up and running and looking professional and wonderful without really a whole lot of investment and a whole lot of time and pain and personality and, all those things. Also personal portfolios. There are a lot of themes out there geared at helping people put their information out, just like an online resume and portfolio. So it can be used during job searches, recruiting events, and things like that. So it's really that flexible and that worthwhile for everything else. One of the questions I get asked a lot, but will my site look like every other WordPress site? Are people going to be able to spot it from a million miles away? Oh, that's WordPress. I know what that is. Well, I've prepared some examples. All of the sites, links you see here, which we're going to go through them in a second, are WordPress sites with general customization, different themes, of course, but customized to the client's needs. And of course, the first example there is VPC. So we are going to start. We're going to switch our screen share to a new window here. Load up these examples. All right, let's do a new screen share. And go here. Okay, so this first example should look very familiar. This is the VPC website. Again, like as you know, it has been built on the WordPress architecture. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. This is a front-end heavy site, so we have a lot of information here on the home page, lots of different navigational sections, areas geared at different things, members only, and attracting new members, and then kind of quick access to a lot of the things that you use the most. The next example is a nonprofit organization, the Moton Museum in Farmville, Virginia. They really need a website that pushes a lot of their content up front in terms of what events they have going on and what kind of how people can support and visit the museum. And so that I'm getting a couple messages that it's blurry. I'm not quite sure. Let me see if I can do anything to improve that. Let me try a different screen sharing option. Give me 1 second. I'm going to swap the screen share selection here. this one. That seems to be worse. Okay, I think that's probably worse because it looks like it's smaller. So I'm going to switch back to just sharing the window. See if hopefully. Let's see if this helps at all. Again, I apologize. Thank you for your patience as we go through kind of the first hiccups of our first online presentation. Let's see. Okay, unfortunately, I think at this time that's as good as I can make this. And again, because I guess it's screenshots of screenshots of screenshots kind of being put out there. So I got a little note. This is a little better. So, hopefully this will work well. Okay, so back to our examples. So the last two you've seen have been nonprofit organizations. One a professional organization, the other a museum. The next one is a school, St. Joseph's School here in Petersburg, or locally here in Petersburg. They use the site very often. There's a lot of constant updating and news going out, school announcements. There's also quite a bit of functionality on this website. So we've got photo galleries and links to purchase the uniforms and history of the school and school life, parent handbooks. So a huge volume of information they needed to be able to present easily, quickly, and so, you know, parents and families can access the information really well. The next site we're seeing here, Sports Then and Now, this is actually the first, this was my learning website. This is the first thing I built on WordPress, and it has been maintained since then. I've been maintaining that since then, since 2008. And it is a blog. As you can see, it's a sports blog. So they have lots of articles, weekly polls, kind of sidebar things going on, advertising. So they, again, use this all the time. And this site particularly gets about, I think it's about 20,000 hits a month, and a huge readership. And WordPress has handled it flawlessly. This site here is kind of a very interesting real estate development site. It's to highlight the recent completion of a medical office park. And this is geared at attracting people to come and take office space in this building that's just been completed. So this was a very specific audience aimed at doctors and facility managers for hospitals and doctors. And so everything you'll see is kind of in one spot. There's a video here. One of the other advantages, WordPress very easily integrates video. So I'll let that play all the way through. And, you know, just all kinds of, there's PDFs to be downloaded and all kinds of information. This is a small business website. So an example of being able to have very limited amount of information, mostly images. Really wanted to talk about themselves and their projects and kind of let that work stand for itself. And the next few are similar to that. So this is another small business, environmental services firm. Again, just startup business. Within 6 months of starting, they needed to look clean and professional and put their best foot forward. And WordPress was an excellent solution for that. Another example here, this is a one-page website. So this is another engineer's website, but she wanted to keep this very simple. And so we built it as one page. There's no navigation. Just presents her qualifications and information. And for her, this is like an online brochure. And that's all she needed, all she wanted. And it was a very easy, simple. She was extremely pleased with how quick and easy that was to get done. This website here is an architectural firm. Again, just showing kind of all the different types of design that you can do. Again, another real estate firm. So showing you kind of the dynamic action. You can have kind of things moving and a lot of things going on, really engaging people. Another example of, this is also a related real estate development firm. But again, very different feel, very different audience. And then we've got some more public oriented. So instead of business, but the Richmond Charlie Company, very much geared at tourists and attracting people that want to take tours and buy tickets and join them on the trolley. So we've got some connection with Facebook and Twitter, subscribe to their mailing list, all their ticket prices and information all here right away. If you want to take a charter, I mean, very clear, clean navigation, and kind of a bright, happy design. Another website again for tourists, Heart Virginia Tours and Receptive Services, offering immersive half-day and full-day experiences in a variety of cities. Again, a very specific target audience. Another one for an apartment complex. So this had to serve two purposes. It sells and represents the apartment complex to potential residents, but also offers spots for residents to apply for maintenance or put in requests and things like that. And so it's kind of a twofold. And this site is for a retail establishment. So again, all of these sites are very, very different. One more retail, budget glass company. So all these sites are very different in look and feel and in audience, but they all are built on WordPress. They all started exactly the same way with the same free software, same ability to quickly, easily get all of these things organized and up and going, and just a really, powerful way of doing it. So let's go back to our PowerPoint here. Give me one second. Do another screen share. Switch back to PowerPoint. All right, so I think that answers the question, will it look like every other WordPress site? That's impossible. Every like snowflakes, they're all unique. It really just depends on who you're trying to reach and what kind of theme you pick up. Is it really that easy to use? The next thing I'd like to do is talk about some of the really functionality, the technical features that do make it that easy to use. The dashboard is very intuitive and easy to navigate. Editing text is very similar to using Microsoft Word or Mac Pages. You type your text, you can highlight and click to make it bold, add bullet lists, things like that, insert pictures. All works exactly the same way. It feels very natural. Adding images and linking to documents, very quick and easy. We'll go over that in a few minutes. And changing things is very low risk. You can kind of preview things, check it out, get a new feel for a whole new look without actually committing and going live. You can, it's like trying on clothes. You just kind of try it on. If you don't like it, oh well, go to the next one. The plugins, which are the kind of little add-on functionality, allow you to add only the bells and whistles that you need. So you don't have to kind of wade through. If you don't need comment moderation and voting polls on your site because you're not a blog, you don't have to have them. Just don't use those plugins. But if you do need event calendaring or connection with Facebook or connection with something like Wild Apricot, it's really a la carte, choose what you need and develop it as you need it. Updating and keeping it current are really easy. They send you alerts, things pop up and tell you updates are needed, and within a couple of clicks, you're all done. And your site is safe, secure, update, everything else. And one of the things I think is by and far the best pro in the WordPress column is if you get stuck, lost, or frustrated, all you have to do is Google it. If you Google anything, WordPress, how to, whatever it is, there are so many millions of users and forums and articles and products and services, everything that can, there's so much information out there. Honestly, in all these years, I've never found anything that just stumped me. And I'm, and I started completely knowing nothing, and I've just been self-educated the whole way. So if that is, sounding great, so let's take a tour. So, all right, we're going to come out of here and switch over. Again, thanks everybody. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to type those in the chat box. I can see that and I can reply to those whenever I can. But our next task is going to be to take a tour of WordPress. So load this up. For a very simple tour, I'm going to start with my own website, bufordcreek.com. Pull this screen up. So here we are at bufordcreek.com. This is a again, my website. And so here's the home page, some articles I've written about services, contact. And so let's say you've taken the plunge, you installed it, and you're ready to go, ready to manage your site. And, just how easy this is. So we'll start here with the login information. So I've set up my website and created all this login information. So I can log in here, and that takes me to the dashboard. Now this dashboard is kind of your, control center. So you can see at a glance how many posts you have, how many pages, what you're running, whether it's the most updated. If you have any updates, they'll show up here as well. Pending posts or pending comments on any of your posts. And you can add other things here to kind of make it more user-friendly. The look and feel of sites are controlled by the theme, so the appearance. Right now, you'll see the active theme is called Oxygen. Now, these themes have tons of different names. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of themes. Many of them are free. Some of them are paid, so you're going to have to be, cautious of that. But the premium paid themes are as little as $20, as much as $300. And so depending on what you want, what kind of functionality you want built in and ready to go, you don't have to spend that much, or you can really invest in a customized theme as well. All the themes I'm going to show you here are just quickly free ones that come as part of the WordPress community that you can download and install at any time. And so let's look at this. So here is the website as it stands now. And I go, I'm thinking, I want to change it up. I'm a little bored with that. I don't know how I feel about that. So let's go back over here to our themes. And I've installed a couple. Let's check this one out. Live preview. So this won't change it for my users. It'll just show me a version of what it might look like if I switch to this one. That's okay. And the trick here is that you haven't customized this at all. So I haven't inserted my logo and things like that. But I kind of see how it's laid out. Let's see what a regular page looks like. Okay. All right. Well, I get that. All right. Well, maybe not. Let's see. What's this next one? Take a live preview of that. See how that's going to look. Well, that's kind of neat. Not too bad. Like that layout. Like how it keeps my sidebar. Let's see what a page looks like. Okay, like that, nice and bold. And as you can see, it's just kind of reskinning my site as I go. Okay, well that's a maybe. Let's see. Let's look at this one. See what it looks like. Okay, well that's kind of neat too. Now I'm not sure. Which one do I really want? Well, the good thing is I can switch these at any time. But yay, that's always great. So let's go ahead. I think I like this one the best. So let's go ahead and activate this. So now I've looked at them all, I've had a chance to review, I'll just activate. Now when I go to the live site, what my clients see and my customers see when they visit my site, that's now changed. Reskinning your site is that simple. And then, so because I don't want to spend a little bit of time today customizing and adding my logo and things, I will switch back to the other. But you know, oh, I didn't like that. I like that last thing we have. So we just go back here, activate again, and refresh, and we're back in business. Okay, so that's, you know, in themes, under themes also, there are some areas to customize where you can change some of the colors, typography. This is always interesting here. So Google web fonts are built into almost every WordPress theme. And so you've got, you know, anywhere from 5 to 100 fonts that come installed with your theme to pick from. So let me try that. And you can see it's changed typography there. Let's try, what's this one look like? Kind of clean and modern, like that. What about, oh, I think that's the same one I was on. Droid. What does that look like? Okay, a little different. That's kind of neat too. Oswald, what's that look like? And so you can see it's really this easy to kind of play around, really customize it to what you want your page to look like. This, in each theme, will have a different set of options here. So this one gives me background color. I can select a color. Let's see, I kind of like, and we can kind of watch it change. So, I mean, obviously that's a little too dark, you know, maybe coming up here. Yeah, we'll go there. And you can select the color of links. So this will change then the colors of my links to information in there. So I'll set that back to, and that default there is giving you, that changed it there to blue. So as you can see, I've customized this quite a bit already. So we'll go back to our grayishness here. There we go. It's where you can customize your header image, your background image. I don't have one, but you could have a picture in the back. Change your navigation around and adjust other things, widgets and footer and functionality. So, and then you would save and publish this, and it would save all of the changes that you've just kind of played around with. But I'm just going to exit out. Excuse me again. So let's talk a little bit about plugins. We'll go to our plugins page. So again, plugins are functionality. So anything that kind of you want your website to do other than the main things, present information, you usually typically have a plugin for it. When we look at the VPC site in a few minutes, you'll see that there are very different plugins there. Plugins are very easy to find, and you can kind of, one of the most popular ones is we search for SEO plugins. So it's something that gives me better searching results. As you can see, it found 1,619 items for SEO plugins. And it's a little overwhelming. You do need to do a little bit of research or get recommendations. One of the ones I've used very often is this WordPress SEO by Yoast. So let's say that was what we definitely wanted. So I'm going to install that. With one click, it's installed. Activate it. And it says, congratulations, you've just installed this. Let's take a tour. And so many of these things really help you out. They become intuitive and are, you know, help you walk through the setup, tell you what to do. And especially if you don't understand some of these things, it is really a great service. We won't do that right now. But the plugins, you know, kind of anything you can think of, interacting with social media, many checkout systems, e-commerce systems are plugins as well. So now let's go down a little bit and talk about users. So very often an organization will need other people to post things, people to write articles. You can have complete control over who gets to use what they have access to and what they're able to do. So you kind of fill in all this information, and then you pick whether they're a subscriber, contributor, which means they could just send articles and then you approve them and post them. An author, editor, administrator is full administrative rights. So again, very flexible. You can have one for tech support. You can have one for your interns to write things or update things. And the meat of it, of course, is posts and pages. So the kind of easy way to remember this is pages are things that don't change that much. So your about page or list of experience or services, contact information. So those things are all just general pages. And let's say we want to edit one of these just to show you what that looks like. There's two views here. If you see over here, text and visual. Text is kind of the code view, and visual is what it sounds like, the visual view. So it's kind of an approximation of what whatever you're typing will look like on site. And so as you can see, it gets formatted by the theme. So this page doesn't look exactly like this, but on my page here, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like that. So it's formatted it, put a nice border around the images, et cetera, et cetera. And kind of anything you change here will then change on the live site. So we'll, for instance, let's make this purple. Update that. Good old save. Go here, refresh this page, and now we have a purple. It's you know, again, just to demonstrate the ease and usability of this. Posts are your news items, your updates and new things that are coming out. I started a draft post earlier that we'll go ahead and edit just as an example. Intro to WordPress webinar resources. So I'm going to make the PowerPoint that I showed you available with its links and everything to everybody. And so let's go ahead and we'll post that to my website. So thanks to everyone for joining me during the live webinar. Please feel free to download a copy of the PowerPoint shown. Click here to download. So as an example, so I want the words click here to download to be the thing that's linked. So we want to first insert a link, and you can either put a link to an actual website here or link to other content. So you can link to articles or other documents that you've uploaded. And right now, I'm going to, right now we're just going to link to a page. So let's add that link. And then now this is ready to go live. I can add an image to it if I wanted to. So I can add image. One good thing about this is you can drop files from your desktop on here or select files. So kind of two ways of doing that. And let's just grab, here we go. That's line it to the right, link it to nothing. Could link that to a PDF file or something else, and choose the size. So this is pixels. Thumbnail, very tiny, medium, large, kind of whatever size option your theme allows for. Those are what are here. So I'm going to choose medium. So it's going to insert that into the post, and when I publish, it will be live. So let's go back here to the home page. There's our new article. Intro to WordPress right there at the top. Looking great. I saw a note from people that have to leave. I am so sorry. I know we got a late start, but this is pretty much the end. If you do have to leave, please feel free. This webinar will be available for viewing at the same link at any time as you go forward. And thank you so much for joining us. And the last couple of things I wanted to show you are the settings and tools. So there's very general settings where you can turn on and off commenting or decide how your links look on your page. And then tools such as updating, connecting things for, on the fly, being able to update your WordPress or update your site from a mobile device, everything like that. So there's tons of tools, and it really just an easy way to manage the site. So once it is built, what you saw me doing with the posts and the pages, that's as easy as it is. That's really all you do to keep maintaining your website. And WordPress then does all the formatting, pulls everything, makes sure everything looks exactly the way it should, and puts it all in there for you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share on this. Find it. And feel free to ask me any questions. I'm happy to stay for a little while, and keep an eye on the chat box. I am here if you need to. If anybody has any questions about WordPress in general, or about how to apply it, or where, what it works best for, or other things like that, I'd be happy to answer them. One of the other, while we're kind of doing that, I'm going to pull up the VPC site so you can kind of see a different version. So my site's a very simple site as far as sites go. Very few plugins, very few kind of things going on, bells and whistles. But we've got VPC, on the other hand, was a very interesting site and a great site to build. I'll find my right window here. VPC. There it is. So I'm going to pull screen sharing back up for Google Hangouts. So here we are again with the VPC site. And as you know, this is what the front end of the site looks like, of course. Each of these sections is kind of a different special thing. When we built the site and delivered it, we also sent a update and user manual guide for anybody going forward to understand how to update these pictures that are scrolling and the articles that appear on the front and add new information. On the back end here, I've logged in, and this is, again, same dashboard. Everything looks very similar. We have all the same information here. As you see, go ahead and look at the plugins, because there are a number of different plugins on this website. So we have Ascimet, which is a spam protection plugin. We have Elegant Themes Updater, which will automatically update this theme and keep that completely safe and kind of virus-free. Online backup system, so that runs automatic online backups. So once these are all set up, they just kind of do their thing. The Run Quick Webinar plugin is actually the newest one we just installed, and that's what we're talking to you today on, is the Run Quick Webinar software. There's a subscriber handler, SEO handler, things that pull posts from other pages. And so, these are some of the kind of various functionalities that you can add on. If you go into another item here, if we look at menus, you can look at that. So that's under Appearance and Menus. You can see we have a primary menu. We have a couple different menus. There's one in the footer, one at the top, and one on the main side of pages. So you select which menu you're wanting to edit, and these menus are honestly as simple as dragging and dropping. So let's say I wanted to add a new page, and I created a new page. I can view all the pages we have, and here is a test page. We'll just add that. Excuse me, add that to menu. It automatically adds it at the bottom. If this was, say, supposed to be a page, a subset of the foundation, I would just pull this over. And now that will appear as a drop-down menu item. We don't want to do that to the left side yet, but I'll show you an example. So about VPC, and then these kind of tagged in board, bylaws, FOIA. That's what happens when you click here. So those are the items that show up there. I can rearrange them from here, just drag and drop them. If I wanted bylaws to be first, I can do that. Hit save. And then refresh on my old window. And bylaws is now at the top. And so we want to switch that back. We can do it that way. Depending on your theme, you can have 1, 2, or 3 levels deep of navigation. Not that recommended, because you don't want people to have to dig too deeply in your website to find things. But it's certainly, if you have archive material or things you kind of want to bury on there but still have accessible, it's a great way of doing it. If you look at the theme options on here, we selected, after looking at several, it's called the Foxy theme. And what you see here says Foxy Child. So what happened was we selected a theme, and then we customized it. We did a lot of customization. And so when I did that, I created a clone, which is the child, the clone of that theme. So we can always update this theme and not have to lose our original customization. And so we've selected the Foxy. Foxy specifically, this theme comes with additional options that you can select. So go here, and this is where I set the logo, the favicon, which is this little area that comes up here, little image that appears there, where we set that. And then we have different options. So on your home page, sorry, I see that the screen print is a little blurry. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's doing that. So let's investigate that a little bit better. This is really just to show you an example of, this is a very specific to this theme options panel. And so depending on the theme you install, yours may be different. You may not have one, but this one makes it very easy. This is a premium theme that we custom designed, so it's a little different than one you would download freely. This lets me say, put that slider. This is the slider. Show that or not. If I disable that and save, that slider will go away, and I can put it right back. What are their options down here? We can have the slider automatically scrolling, which we do, and here we can set the milliseconds of how long that scrolls. You can really drill down and change a lot of very specific things, depending on the theme you use, again, and the settings. One other thing I'd like to talk about in appearance is widgets. So widgets, it's a funny word. It's a very generic word. Depending on your theme, you'll have different areas. So I have a sidebar and a footer area for widgets. Widgets are basically little snippets. So think of them as little standalone little code snippets that you tack on to different parts of your site. So this one, for instance, is the sidebar. So when we're in a regular page on the VPC website, let's see which page we're on here. Boards. You see a sidebar. One option for maybe possibly getting your screen to clear up a little bit is to put the video itself at full screen, or make your screen full. That may help, because again, we're doing screenshots of screenshots through the internet. So, so if you do have that option of having go full screen on your window. That may help if you're getting a little blurriness and it's frustrating. So to get back, so this is the sidebar in this theme. So we've got Explore VPC and recent posts, and those were set here. So in this sidebar, we have a custom menu, which I created in the menus and made it Explore VPC. And then recent posts is a already created widget. So over here are the widgets that you have available to you. And I tell it how many posts to show. We can set this to 10, 1, 2, 30. Tell it to display the date or not. So let's turn that on and save. And then let's add something. So let's go over here. And how about a search bar? So let's go ahead and put search. And we'll call this search this site. And save that. Now when we come to our live site and refresh, we will be able to see that our show this post now have dates on them all, and search the site is now here. So kind of adjusting this information and figuring out how to display things becomes a really easy tool. This footer area is again controlled by widgets. So we have footer area 1, 2, and 3. And so you'll see what we did was kind of break up how we wanted that information to appear in the footer. So recent news section, follow our blog, sign up for our newsletter. This is in section 2, and latest events and photos in section 3. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to say, now I want the search bar in the regular sidebar. I think I want a search bar over here underneath latest photos. So, and that saves automatically. We do that. Let's go ahead and refresh here. Oh, there it goes. Search this site. And you'll notice when you do that, it's automatically formatted because of the theme, as it should be with the rest of the area that it's being put in. So, you know, again, I just kind of can't say enough about the ease and, you know, flexibility of using WordPress, whether it be for a nonprofit organization where there's kind of a lot of hands and a lot of changeover and a lot of things happening all the time, and you know, a lot of different people that need to access this. It's easy because it's a very easy back end. It's easy to learn, easy to get up to speed, and of course for company websites where small business need to get a website up and running, or a nonprofit that needs to get a website up and running fast and connect with social media and be able to kind of link out to all these things, it just makes it that much easier and simpler. And it really keeps your costs fairly low because you're not paying for custom software and you're not paying for a lot of other things that you really don't need, and the bells and whistles you don't need. It comes, you know, stripped down, and then you add piece by piece what it is you want to do with your website. So I hope sincerely that this was a great introduction to WordPress. I am here for a little while longer, and I'm happy to take any of your questions. What I will do now is just talk a little bit more about some of the types of websites I've worked on with WordPress and kind of some of the pros and cons. But please, if you have any questions, type them into the chat window and I'll see them when they pop up. Again, we're a few seconds delayed, but so, you know, very often I get asked, well, it all sounds almost too good to be true. Really, what's the downfall? What's the con? What's the big maybe not on that? And the only thing I can really think of as a negative about WordPress is that it's almost too flexible and you can do too much with it. It can be overwhelming. And so there's too much information. There's too much stuff. If you Google what is WordPress, for instance, millions upon millions of hits come up. And that's kind of, it can be a little overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be. And so I, you know, kind of hedge to say that that's a con, but It really kind of is. So for a beginner or for somebody who's really not technical, but have heard, oh, this is definitely the way to go, it can be a little intimidating. But I would encourage you to just kind of reach out to other people you may know. There's so many websites built on WordPress that, you know, you'd be surprised how many of the people you already know and work with are using it every day and can help you out. Also, look to the online resources for community groups. There's some WordPress user groups here locally as well as across Virginia. Any kind of user group for website development or graphic design. Those are the kinds of places that can help you figure it out and learn it. Also, there are tons of consultants and web companies and people that will help you out, you know, for a fee, you know, as a part of a project. And sometimes that investment is worth it because they have, like me, they've kind of spent their time in the trenches figuring it all out and parsing it all out and understanding kind of how things happen. And one other con, I guess, is part of that as well. So there's so many different plugins and themes and things you can do with WordPress that, you know, it's kind of a numbers game. You get to a point where if there are 8 million themes out there, there's, you know, and only 1% of them is kind of buggy and just doesn't work and wasn't developed properly, wasn't written quite right. You're going to run into it. You know, that's still a lot of themes out there that are buggy. And so it's easy to kind of run across things that are frustrating. You know, say you install a search engine optimization plugin. Well, I'll give you an example, very personal. Online backup of your WordPress. So many of my clients need that. They want to have to not think about backing up their WordPress at all and just let that happen automatically. Then if anything happens, I get hacked or my site goes down, I'll have I know I have a backup. And so I went kind of in search of the best backup plugin, something that will happen, let that happen automatically. And I tried a few, and a few of them were just terrible. It did not work. They didn't kick off at the right times, or they were too restrictive, or just plain buggy, just didn't work. And it took a little while to really settle on one that I really liked, but I found one through referrals and reading articles online. But it's, you know, it was a little bit of frustration, but there's so many out there. You know, there's probably 500 plugins that simply help you back up your database. And so being able to search that, read reviews, talk to people, just like anything else, just kind of educate yourself a little bit before you spend any money, and especially for the things that are premium, things that you do have to pay for. There are things you do have to pay for. That's another con. You know, people say, oh, it's not really free. You can do just about anything free, but some of the more kind of bells and whistly options do have a cost associated because someone has spent a lot of time developing that code and putting that in there, but is often very reasonable. Kind of the market doesn't bear, the WordPress market doesn't bear a whole lot of, you know, extensive costs. And also premium themes, very often the more expensive ones. So as you get up into the $150, $200, and $300 themes, that's a one-time purchase, which is great, but it's an investment in kind of a lot of that design is already done for you. And so, like, for instance, there are very specific themes for real estate agents where you can install this theme and it costs $300, but once you install it, all you have to do is start entering the house information you have for sale, and it already populates and creates all the database, all the backend that you need and the functionality to display houses for sale and make them searchable and have alerts when there are open houses and things like that. And so rather than spend your time finding 5 plugins, one that will have a calendar and one that will let it do this and this and this, you know, they've kind of done that work for you. And so that's why that theme is a premium. Or you can start again with a free one and build your site up yourself with a free. So it's really cost benefit analysis for yourself, for your business, for your organization, understanding what that impact is going to be, and, you know, how much is it worth? How much is your time worth? How much is it worth? You know, how quickly do you need this up and going? And what do you really need it to do? And that's kind of the bigger website question in general, is what do you really need your website to do? What can it do? And most importantly, what does your target audience want it to do? So I am coming to the close of my time. I will hang around a little bit longer. Does anybody have any questions? I haven't seen any come through. But if you do not, I will go ahead and sign off here shortly. Meanwhile, I guess I can do a screen share and talk a little bit more about some of the other websites that I've done using WordPress. Let's see. Let's pull that window back up. There we go. So obviously, you know, the VPC one. So let's talk just a little bit about some of the different functionality and options here. Part of Tours, again, is a tour website aimed at people traveling. They sell half-day tickets and things like that. Pause there for a second. I have a question. The question is, can I design a WordPress site and then swap it out with a website I already have so I don't have to pull down my current website? Answer to that is a resolute absolutely yes, and it is very easy to do. One of the big security alerts about, kind of security points about WordPress is that you install it actually on a inner folder on your server. So if you have a GoDaddy hosting, or for instance, you would install WordPress on another inside folder. So if you look here, like for instance, this one is showing its inside folder. It is hovtour.com/hovtwrp. And so that's the name of that FTP folder that we install WordPress on. So, and this particular site actually that I'm showing you is not live right now. So if you were just a regular customer and you went to hovtour.com, you see that it's not on it. We're not live yet. And so once we have finished the development, the client's still working a little bit on some of the content and wants to launch at the end of the month. Once we've finished development, what we'll do is just repoint this domain, whether this was your existing website or something's coming quite soon, to show this content. And that's really, once you've installed and built the site, it takes about 5 minutes to go live from one to the other. Some of the samples of this West Creek Medical Park, their website was stayed live for the 2 months that we were developing this. Same thing with Silvercore. Really, very often you want your website to stay live and not have to monkey around with it. And being able to install WordPress on that inner folder allows you to be able to do that. I'm trying to see, there's another sample with VPC. When you go to your login screen, if you look here, we installed the VPC WordPress on an inner folder called VAPC. And so that actually keeps WordPress safe because it buries your files into an inner folder, so a little harder for the spam malware robots to find. It's an extra layer of protection, but it also allows you to fully develop completely unseen but live on the web. So when you're developing, as you can see in the Heart of Virginia Festival or Heart of Virginia Tours website, this is a live website. We can test it. We can put our content in, do whatever we want to, and then be able to go live when we know we've been able to click on everything and test everything. So if there are any more questions, please feel free to put those up there. But for right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, before we sign off, what to expect with next week. So next week is advanced WordPress use. And so in that webinar, we're going to talk a little bit, we'll go over quickly kind of a quick guide to installation and setup of WordPress. So if you kind of want to start clean, this will kind of give you those quick steps. And then we'll go into selecting a theme, installing that theme and customizing that, and really kind of step by step setting up your site and how to kind of customize it and tweak it to what you want it to be and the functionality that you need. So we'll have kind of we're gonna build a site while we talk, and I'll be screen sharing that with you so you can kind of follow along, take notes, send your questions. Certainly, if you have any ideas or questions in the meantime, please feel free to email them. My contact information will be on the PDF, and then we'll go ahead and make sure we email the PDF out to everybody that joined us today. But please feel free to email me questions about this presentation or the next presentation or suggestions, and also any feedback you have. Please feel free to email myself or Gail Kent on the webinars that we're presenting. If you have any constructive criticism, anything that we can maybe improve upon. I know our technical start was a little rough this afternoon, but we did a lot of testing beforehand, I promise. But you can never know with technology sometimes. It's a little frustrating. But yeah, if you have any feedback, information, or anything, please feel free to contact myself or Gail. And I hope that you'll join me next week when, again, we will get into the nitty-gritty of actually building your WordPress site. So we're going to kind of build a dummy WordPress site, and we'll I've got an example that we can use, and we'll go through all of the steps to doing all of that and really customizing it to what you want and what you need, and being able to hopefully at the end of that have you feel very confident and very energized to get out there and build your own WordPress site. So meanwhile, again, my name is Jessica Borsits. Thank you so much for joining us and joining the VPC for their first webinar in a series, Introduction to WordPress. Again, have a wonderful afternoon.